Hello everyone. So this is hopefully it's a very short video on how to access the sites that is required for you to answer a lot of questions pertaining to this week's in this case competency and objectives. So in this week we're going to be talking about local, in this case local sustainable organizations, and in this case approaches used by your community. Okay, so one of the requirements that you have to do is you actually have to access the Wisconsin DNR website on the environmental protection section. And so there is a link obviously on your learning plan, and I'm just going to open it and just show you how to get to a couple of topics here. The two main topics, okay, that you need to access once you go to the DNR website are actually the water area, okay, as well as the air quality area. I'm sorry about that. In the air quality area, right, we're going to look at a couple of things. We're actually going to look at air pollutants and standards and implementation. So we're actually going to look at air pollutants and standards. Okay. And under that air pollutants and standards tab, as you can see, you can actually see carbon monoxide, like lead, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, particles, different types of particles, anything smaller than 2.5 microns and higher, ozone as well. And if you click on any of these tabs, there's further information that you can actually look down on the like on the bottom. Okay, so again, that is actually a requirement for you, is to actually be able to find this information. The reason why you're doing this is because I believe that before you do any practice, you need to be informed first. Okay, so you need to know the basis of your actions first. And so this is one of the reasons why I'm asking you to do this. All right, so I'm just going to go back to the main website, and we can also look at air quality trends. And there is actually a way that you can actually look at data pertaining ozone, pertaining to particulates, and you can actually click, if you look at the right side here under air quality trends, and there's actually a lot of ways that you can do this. You can actually go to current air quality forecast, all right, and it's going to be an air quality viewer. It's going to take a while to load up, I believe, and you can actually see this data here. All right, so air quality data, it actually tells you good, moderate, unhealthy for sensitive groups, all of that stuff. You never want to be around these red areas here. Okay, so that is actually one way, and then you can obviously plug in your zip code, and then in this case you can actually determine the air quality data in this case. The other way that you can actually do this, that's one way that you can actually do look at air quality data. The other way that you can do this is you can click on view under air quality. Okay, and this is actually a better way. And what happens is the actual counties that actually have monitoring sites in them can actually be, and again, this is dependent upon from the initial like tabs that I've opened, based on air contaminants, carbon monoxide, nitrous dioxide, ozone, particulates bigger than 10 microns, particulates less than 2.5 microns, so on and so forth. Okay, and as you can see, you can even look, if you can look at ozone here, you can actually look at interactive maps, and you can actually change, okay, air quality index. You can look at pollutant instead, and you can actually then change, you can actually focus in Sheboygan or Manitowoc, okay, and you can then change into like other, in this case, current data. All right, so that's actually how you can actually do this. So you can again look at pollutants, sites, all of the stuff. Again, it doesn't really matter how you would do this, right? Again, you can now, the problem is there's going to be some limitations for some of the sites in Sheboygan and some of the sites in Manitowoc. All right, the other thing that you can actually do is clicking on this information, carbon monoxide. Again, you can actually go backwards and actually find the appreciable levels for air quality monitoring data for that as well. All right, so that is one way that you can access data. The other thing is you can actually click on reports, and you can actually click on reports, and you can actually, in this case, change the dates. So you can actually search the dates in question if you know the dates that you're looking for. So you can actually look at, let's say, I don't know, a couple of days ago, let's say, I don't know, the 20th of November, okay? And then you can actually, in this case, then search then, I hope. press enter. And what happens is you can actually look at data then. And this is statewide data, but what obviously you can do is you can actually search by site. You can actually hopefully find Sheboygan, Sheboygan Haven, or Sheboygan Colarandre here, and it actually tells you, like in this case, units maximum minimum for ozone, temperature, so on and so forth. Okay, so for the past couple of days we didn't have any of those data, and in fact it looks like the actual site is down currently. Okay, but you can definitely look at other data from previous dates. All right, so that's actually one way that you can actually utilize this. So that's about air quality. The other thing that you need to do is you actually go back to this, and I'm going to go backwards here, is after air quality, we're actually going to be looking at water resources. Okay, and in water resources, there's going to be 3 places that you need to go. You're going to be looking at drinking water, groundwater, and the Great Lakes. Okay, so the Great Lakes is quite easy. You click on that one, you look at invasive species, contaminants, pollution, so on and so forth. Okay, so again, there's the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, which is a big thing. All right, so, and you can actually look at invasive species as well. So that is one other. The other thing is drinking water, which is quite important for us because we drink water anyway. And one of the things about that is you need to look at contaminants. Okay, so as you can see, there's a lot of ways that you can actually look at contaminants, but there's a way, if you open all, you can actually, in this case, look at every single contaminant that can be tested for, in this case, for our drinking water. So that is another way here. Okay, so it's quite extensive. Please, again, the most important thing here is you need to be able to find this data, and this is what I'm trying to show you. Okay, so that's that. So you can also, again, similar to what we've seen before for air quality, we can actually look at water quality data as well. And there is actually the Wisconsin Well Water Quality Viewer. There's actually a couple of ways. If you know the specific numbers, you can actually look at, if you actually have your private well tested, you can actually look at this, look this way. But here, all right, there you go. I thought that was going to be a problem here. What you actually want to, this is actually sponsored by University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, and you need to click on the Use the Interactive Well Water Quality Viewer. And it's take a few seconds to load. And similarly to what you've seen before, there's actually color-coded in this case, Sheboygan and Manitowoc County, and you can actually click on any of these contaminants, atrazine, bacteria, chloride, so on and so forth, right on the site. Now, what do all of these numbers mean? You can actually click on this interpret link here, and actually this is actually a huge publication that actually tells you what are the numbers that you want for all of those parameters. Okay, if you want to get closer, you can actually, in this case, zoom in, and you can actually look at specific areas a little bit more in detail. All right, so I'm just going to pause for a second. So again, this is actually the one way that you can actually check, in this case, drinking water quality data. Now, this is a very important thing. A lot of this groundwater data is actually based on well water testing. So obviously, if like an area doesn't have any well water information, then you obviously cannot find, you probably cannot find that information. But I promise you, Sheboygan and Manitowoc County data for all of these parameters can actually be seen. All right, so that's one way that you can actually look at drinking water. The other thing that you can actually do this is you can actually, if you are not, in this case, if you're not drinking water from a well, all right, the other thing is you can actually look at like if you are, in this case, if your water is actually provided by a utility, you can actually look at public drinking water data, and you can actually find public water systems. So let's say we're going to look at Sheboygan. There's a bunch of places in Sheboygan that can actually be researched here. Obviously, Aurora Sheboygan Medical Center. If you go to a number like page 2 of this, you can actually see that there's actually the Sheboygan Water Utilities, okay, or Sheboygan. I have no idea what waterworks that is, okay. So in here, you can actually look at consumer confidence reports. You can actually do a lot of inspections, right? Bacteriological samples, lead, copper samples, fluoride samples. All right, so you can violations even. Okay, so you can actually find any of this data, and obviously the other thing that you can do from here is you can actually look at dates. All right, so here the last time that you actually got your water check was just a couple of days ago. It looked like that, and it looks like there's no fecal detected in the matter. Okay, so fecal meaning like basically poop. Okay, animal poop primarily speaking, and what goes with basically animal poop is actually coliform, or actually in this case bacteria that actually lives in the in this case the colon, or the large intestine of most animals. Okay, E. coli, you probably heard of that. So this is actually one way that you can actually do this. Obviously, there's multiple sites in the like in this case in the Sheboygan water utility, but you can look at multiple tests and multiple parameters for any of those things. Okay, so that is a very, very important thing. So that basically should cover the information that you need for the Wisconsin DNR. Okay, including invasive species again, well quality, in this case public utilities, permissible level of contaminants in both water and air. The last thing I would like for you to do is actually go to the Sheboygan County and Planning and Conservation page, and actually I want you to look at ordinances and some plans. And in ordinances and plans, if you in this case expand the ordinances and regulation, you can actually check sanitary ordinance, shoreline ordinance, and there's going to be some questions in your quiz that actually talks about this. The majority of the questions in your quiz is going to be based on animal waste ordinance, which is actually chapter 77 of, like in this case, the county's ordinance section. And again, you can actually click. All right, so waste permit application, don't worry about that. The big thing here is, I'm sorry about that, is actually the ordinance itself. So you can open it. It's a huge, and there's multiple ways. You actually need to go scroll down again and then click on the one numbered labeled number 77, animal waste storage, and the document should pop up. It's multiple pages. I know it's going to be a pain, all right, but I just want you, and it's only 10 pages. Yeah, I want you to be able to find, in this case, ordinances that actually, in this case, helps you and helps your neighbors, in this case, be more sustainable, okay, and be a little bit more environmentally friendly. Okay, the other thing that you need to do actually under this department, okay, you can actually go through, like in this case, there should be planning and conservation, zip, is actually some comprehensive plans. And in your county comprehensive plans, the only thing that I want you to access actually is this case called Land and Water Management Program. And actually there should be a Sheboygan County Comprehensive Plans. If you open that, there should be one that talks about industrial parks and environmental contaminated areas. So it tells you locations that actually have, in this case, leaking underwater, like underground storage tanks, and environmental remediation plans in place, closed and open sites as well. Right? So again, the take home here is I want you to be able to find lots and lots of information in your community. Okay, and again, you can search for again waterworks. So again, very important thing for us obviously is air quality and water quality, and hopefully this is this is a little bit. Hopefully you'll be able to navigate through both the sites. If not, you can always email me, zap me an email, and I can hopefully like direct you to the necessary resources if need be. All right. Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone.